Lycans and gentlemen, children of the night, nocturnals, night terrors, and all things that go bump in the night. Welcome to your monthly treatment of shock therapy. The doctor will see you now. Show me your woes, and I'll cure all that ails you. Consider me your night watchman for this evening's festivities here at the Mind's Eye Theater. I invite you to violate curfew along with me for this graveyard shift. I am your horror host Inkarnate for this sold-out show. So, I do hope that everyone has enjoyed the new thumbnail that I've added. I've always wanted to, or I have been thinking for some time, about going the route of creating a thumbnail for the watch parties that look like a ticket, you know, an admit one ticket. So, it took some troubleshooting, but I managed to get it down pat. I might do a little bit more editing, but I was really proud of it. And it was, for me, it was perfect to finally debut that, just because this is episode 101 of the Mind's Eye Theater. I'm still in shock and pleasantly surprised that I even made it to 100 episodes, which I celebrated last time, obviously, with a watch party for Obsession. I was happy to have finally gotten around to see that. So, that brings us to tonight. So, I have begun a new segment of Mind's Eye Theater, which I fondly refer to as backslash. So that's just, to me, that's just a clever name where I am referring to two purposes, two reasons for the backslash watch party. Because we get numerous remakes and prequels and sequels, I figured, hey, why not watch a previous installment in a franchise or in a similar genre, just to celebrate an upcoming release. Or, the second reason, and this is where my cynical, critical part of me comes into play, is that another purpose, another reason for the backslash is to serve as a refresher, to get the bad taste out of our mouth when said remake, sequel, prequel, or installment within a subgenre, to get the bad taste out of our mouth, because these newest installments have just crapped the bed. So the inaugural backslash was, I almost said Resident Evil. I'll get into that later. It was Evil Dead Rise. Now, I wanted to initially do a watch party of that. I've been wanting to do that for a while, just because it's my favorite film in that franchise. But I wanted to do that to celebrate Evil Dead Burn. But I wound up watching Evil Dead Burn. I couldn't do a Evil Dead Rise watch party until after. And the backslash, what was supposed to be a backslash watch party of Evil Dead Rise to celebrate the release of Evil Dead Burn, ended up fulfilling that second block where it's like, wow, Evil Dead Burn was terrible. So that's where the contingency comes in, where we're treated to backslash being used to get the taste out of our mouths, because, oh boy, I've like I said, I've wanted to do a watch party for Evil Dead Rise for a while. It was initially supposed to be a digital release on streaming, and it ended up releasing theatrically. It was my favorite movie of 2023, and I'm glad I got to do a watch party, and certainly a backslash edition of it, just so that I can be reminded of how good that franchise was now that Evil Dead Burn had seemingly derailed it, as the box office revealed. So that brings us to tonight. Why a watch party of Clash of the Titans? Well, numerous reasons. First off, a backslash edition of the Mind's Eye Theater get the taste out of our mouth of the Odyssey. Oof, boy. Bruh, I saw that last week, and my God, could it have been less epic? And I'm curious as to see how the box office is going to be, but that brings us to tonight's selection for the backslash Mind's Eye Theater. So, It just so happens that we have a film that was a very good cult classic in Clash of the Titans that not only deals with actual mythology, God forbid, right? But it does have horror elements to it, absolutely. Now, this is admittedly is kind of one of those fringe type of horror selections where, believe me, they with mythology they could have gone full bore horror, but the Medusa scene, the Kraken scene, the scene with Calibus, those absolutely do qualify for horror selections, and even the witches. Like it's definitely fringe. I'll admit that, but there's definitely horror elements to this. So that brings us to tonight, and it just so happens that Clash of the Titans is celebrating a 45th year anniversary. So I jumped at the chance in order to get everybody involved, do a watch party, certainly do a backslash, so that we can see what a good mythological movie is and should be. So that brings me to what I affectionately refer to as the totem pole. Your selections for what you're rating for this watch party include Bottom of the Barrel, Shallow Grave, and High Stakes. So, I have to go with High Stakes. I mean, absolutely. And another reason why I've always wanted to get to doing a watch party of this movie is because of what Ray Harryhausen and stop motion has meant to horror. There were so many times where his impressive creature effects were dedicated to films and really made those films. And I'll get to a trivia note on him later on in my closing thoughts for this movie. But yes, on the fringe, you might not think of Clash of the Titans to have really anything to do with horror, but Ray Harryhausen's contributions to the genre absolutely cannot ever be underestimated, and they absolutely are worthy of praise and remembrance. So, the totem pole is up for all you fine fiends to vote in. I will be referring to it periodically throughout the watch, but I will recommend for now everyone who is watching on YouTube to cast your vote over what you think the rating for this film should be. So, let me take care of a couple of housekeeping items and then we'll jump right in. Normally, part of the fun of doing these watch parties is for, obviously, everyone to watch along with me. I have this movie on Blu-ray. That's where I'm going to be watching it from. Unfortunately, look, I really tried. I always try for everybody to join along with me, and unfortunately, this movie is not available on any streaming service. Isn't it great that we live in a time where we have the convenience of streaming, and yet you can find movies like The Departed or whatever movie you happen to want to watch, and it's available nowhere? But rant over. Anyway, let me take care of a couple housekeeping items, which gives you time to grab your popcorn and soda pop. So, if you check the link in the description, I have sponsorships with Jabra headsets and Samsung devices. So, there being summer sales going on, I think, with the electronics store, they have Black Friday in July or something like that. So, if you're in the market for either Jabra headsets or Samsung devices, tablets, phones, TVs, what have you, if you could use the sponsorship link in the description, it would serve as a nice kickback for the channel. The Mind's Eye Theater is a proud affiliate of the upcoming horror documentary Mental Health and Horror. So once that comes out, I will do a review of it as well as a watch party. So you have the support link up top. So if you're of a mood, I'll consider it your pound of flesh to support the watch party and the greater Mind's Eye. In addition to that, if you check the link in the description, one of the streaming services that I use is called Streamlabs. They were nice enough to give me my own merch store. And not only will I have four new designs in the pipeline once I hire a graphic designer, but I actually just came up with a Mind Games on the survival horror side. I came up with a Mind Games shirt just today, which I thought was pretty clever. So, while I am waiting for those 4 designs to get designed, and then I can upload them for your purchase, there are still other merchandise items for you to purchase. So, we're coming to you live streaming on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, Kick, X, Rumble, and Locals. In the enduring battle between Inkarnate and the almighty algorithm, my fans are my strongest weapon, therefore I kindly ask for you to get them likes up. Therefore, without further ado, I now present to you this creature presentation. Igor, throw the switch. Okay. And let's sync up so we're on the same page. And we are starting our movie now. Metro Golden Mayer. Jeez, they got bought up by Amazon. I haven't even heard from them in a while. So in an interview with Cinefantastique magazine, the screenwriter for this movie, Beverly Cross, said, "I had the idea for Clash of the Titans in 1969 while I was living in Greece on an island called Skiathos. It's very close to Seriphos, the island where legend has it that Perseus, the son of Zeus, was washed ashore in a trunk. Daw. It's so unfortunate that we get more like depictions of, or better, I should say, depictions of mythology from the past than we do now. It's so strange. And when I say the past, my God, Clash of the Titans, 1981, the Hercules TV series, the Odyssey from Armando Sande with what is it? From 1997, I believe. Crazy, right? He's like, I'm doing God's work right now. Wow. Well, so long. That's the end of the movie. I'm kidding. The screenwriter was a student of mythology. He developed a storyline centering on Perseus and Andromeda, which linked together several myths. He took the idea to producer Charles H. Schneer and Ray Harryhausen, and the story was modified to add even more creatures. You see what I mean? Like, it's so crazy that nowadays we get these $100 million budgeted movies like Troy with Brad Pitt. That's not a good movie. Or The Modern Odyssey, which had a $250 million budget. And it's like, bruh, where did that money go? Like, I would understand doing practical effects or whatever, but it's a mythological movie full of monsters. Like, come on, man. Like, I don't know where that money went. Part of the intrigue for me, I mean, we've all read the Odyssey in high school. Part of the intrigue was was the monsters, and it's not just a CGI fest. The monsters in the story had personalities. Like, it's the strangest thing. I don't remember if Medusa had much of a character, but the Cyclops did. Circe did. Like, and I don't want to fixate too much on the Odyssey the Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, but like, bruh, you don't even get to see the sirens. It's such you're left asking yourself, bro, did Christopher Nolan even really want to make this movie? While you would expect to see mountains in a Greek mythological movie, you wouldn't expect to see snow-capped mountains. Yep. I'm guessing this is Olympus. I haven't seen this movie in decades, but I used to love watching it as a kid. That pelican drops a deuce onto someone's car. Is this Hermes? Or Zeus? I'm surprised that they haven't made a 4K release of this movie. What is he sitting in front of, a laser light show? Of like web lights? Mm-hmm. True. Hmm. Thanks for spelling that out. He's just gonna name drop everybody. Uh. Oh. I thought that was her husband. So that's obviously Perseus who get and his mother that get, the casket treatment. Oh damn. But Perseus is obviously the son of Zeus. Uh-oh. They're like, all right, man, a little extreme. Hmm. So the sea monster that we're about to see, that destroys the city of Argos, was derived, like everybody knows this, it was derived from Norwegian mythology. In Greek mythology, the sea monster that threatened Andromeda's people was called Cetus. The Norwegian Swedish name Kraken is now used as a synonym for the giant squid. Damn! Hera, you so heartless. Uh-oh. So, the Titans preceded the Olympians in power. Cronus and Atlas were the most famous Titans. Ironically, none of the Titans from Greek mythology appear in this movie. So, as mentioned, in the movie, the Titans are the Norse Kraken, who never appeared in Greek mythology at all, and Medusa, who was never considered a Titan by the Greeks. It was such a shame when they made a remake of this movie. It was just such a this is obviously a cult classic. It plays fast and loose with mythology. It's cheesy. It's a bit campy at times, but we love it for that. You know what I mean? Oh, damn. Uh-oh. Damn. Oh, that's pretty harsh. We love it for that. You know what I mean? So with the remake, it was a chance to. It's hard to say what I would have wanted from it. Maybe for it to, like, I don't know, have that epic scale, because obviously, damn. Okay, dude. So you don't want it to be a beat for beat remake, right? You're not gonna do stop motion. They could have gotten away with practical effects, and as far as tone, I would say maybe make it a little bit more epic, because to me, we always get ultra serious adaptations of mythological stories, such as Troy, such as the Odyssey, or we get, schlock like the CGI fest that was the 2010 Clash of the Titans 2010 Clash of the Titans remake. Why can't we get a happy medium? Like, why can't we get something in the middle? Oh man, I forgot about this. So it's just all tidal waves that just destroyed the city. It wasn't the actual I mean, indirectly it was the Kraken, but it's not the Kraken, swiping tentacles and its many arms. Oh, this guy's still suffering. Oh my god. He's suffering an aneurysm while the city around him is just being flooded. Back you go. Into your Sarlacc pit. I do wonder if this was an inspiration for the Sarlacc. Because Return of the Jedi was in the tail end of the 80s, and this film came out at the beginning of that decade. Damn. Well, he effed around and he found out. So get this. Before Harry Hamlin was considered for the role of Perseus, other runners-up were Malcolm McDowell, Michael York, I don't know who that is, Richard Chamberlain, don't know who that is. Arnold Schwarzenegger, who was fairly unknown at the time, was briefly considered, but producer Charles H. Schneer felt that, with the exception of Hercules, Greek heroes were athletic but not overly muscular, relying more on cunning than strength. He also felt that casting a very muscular actor was a cliche, harkening back to the Italian sword and sandal movies of the 1950s and 60s. By the way, this was the only one of Harryhausen's movies that had nudity in it, so that's probably why I got that PG rating. Basically, no point to that scene, but it's cheesy schlock, so whatever. It's kind of funny that they hired Harryhausen for this, yet they were worried about harkening back to the Sword and Sandals movies. It's like, what do you consider this movie then? We just saw Harry Hamlin, Perseus, riding the horse. He had never ridden a horse before filming and had to take intensive riding lessons. I've written my own fan fiction for Greek mythological movies. I'm a huge fan of mythology. One day I do want to get around to looking into Chinese, Japanese, Aztec, and Mayan mythologies. Oh, are they talking about? Yep. Uh-oh, that's her son, Hera. Joppa. I think that was a Egyptian city. Huh. Oh. He so Calibus, as we just heard, killed a bunch of mythological creatures. That's similar to Nimrod from the biblical. Uh-oh, here we go. Here comes the curse. This trailer I thought was really creepy and very well done. Haha. That sound of a rattlesnake tail. That was really well done. So now it becomes like a satyr. He's like, nah, that ain't happening. I'm calling off his wedding. Oh. Sure. Nope. Thanks for reminding her. Uh-oh. No one will. Yep. Let me look that up. Joppa. Most commonly refers to the biblical port city in the Middle East, known as Jaffa, which is rich in history and heavily featured in the Bible. Uh-oh. Zeus ain't gonna like that. Oh. That had nothing to do with Perseus. Jeez, vindictive much? Uh-oh. That had nothing to do with with this guy, with Perseus, and she cursed him. So this was the final theatrical film for which Ray Harryhausen created the visual effects. It was also the only one in which he had assistants. He's like, what? I was on a beach. Lord Raiden? That's cool. The theater mask. I've always, like, if I were to do an adaptation of the Greek Pantheon, I would have the Olympians wearing masks. Like, they would be made of stone, like marble. Look who it is! It's Mickey from the Rocky movies. I'm a hero. It's like nobody comes here. He's like, what? Interesting that this, and again, I don't mean to keep bringing up the Odyssey, but how is the moon out? Interesting that this is a city of Joppa, considering the Egyptian tale, the taking of Joppa, is what undoubtedly influenced the Iliad, the Trojan horse. Egyptians had taken the city back from Canaanites who had raided it, and they infiltrated the city of Joppa in urns where the soldiers were smuggled into the city instead of a Trojan horse. Oh, damn. That's pretty rough. Sure, just help yourself to my wine. Seraphis. Yeah, you wish. He's a weird cat lady that happens to be a man. No. He's like, either you're drunk or I am. Okay, we're about to hit the 20-minute mark just now. Guys, if you can remember to hit the like button on whichever platform you're watching this on, and if you're viewing this on YouTube, if you could remember to vote in the totem poll what your rating for this film is. How many cats do you have, bro? Huh. Nice. He gets an entire assortment, not just of weapons, but basically like enchanted ones, right? Uh-oh. So, someone's in trouble. Hmm. And she's all pretending. Uh-oh. Nice. Cool. So that's cool. I had forgotten about this. Someone's jealous. Mm-hmm. A shower of gold. Cuttlefish. No. Jeez. Even as deities, women just can't help but gossip and be vindictive. I make no apologies. See, it's his assortment, not just of weapons, but those that are enchanted. This is why I think that Wonder Woman is such an L. Like, I think about on the Marvel side how Loki, the nemesis of the trickster brother of Thor, could be not just an enemy of his, but bleed over into being an enemy of the Avengers, and to the point that he leads an invasion of the planet Earth. Why could you never do something like that for Wonder Woman? Because she's boring. Because, like, her rose gallery is non-existent, which is strange to me, considering that you have the entirety of Greek mythology at your disposal. Furthermore, look at how this guy... And look, I don't know how many of the weapons that he's about to gain have, a story behind them, or a myth behind them, or have powers of their own, an enchanted sword, a helmet that can turn you invisible, a winged horse, a cloak, a shield, all that stuff. Why can't Wonder Woman have any of that? And admittedly, even if she did, that would be a bit of an L, because allegedly she's as strong as Superman. Superman needs his bare fists to win a fight. Why would Wonder Woman need like a shield or whatever? You know what I mean? When she's supposed to be as strong as Superman. But let's say let's say we just dispense with that. Why is it that Wonder Woman has no interesting villains that could be a threat to her and or bleed over into the rest of the Justice League, like the way that Thor has with Loki? And mind you, Thor, as far as the MCU is concerned, Loki was the first of the threats that that brought the Avengers together. And we all know what the first Avengers was, how good it was, and what it meant for the MCU as well as cinema. Again, and you've had it so many times in so many cases where a story. Oh, hold on. Let me just hear what Zeus has to say. Absolutely crazy talking, man. I mean, it's a shield. No matter what, it's gonna guard your life. Invisible. And like the best that they can have with Wonder Woman as far as like enchanted weapons is her stupid whip that and she like it's an L when you always have to explain the whip. Like whenever she happens to wrap someone around it or wrap someone with it, she always has to, this is the whip of whoever, the lasso of truth. You have to blah blah blah. Like when Batman throws a batarang, he doesn't need to explain it. You know what I mean? It's so stupid. That's the best that they could do with her. And speaking of boomerangs, she has that stupid tiara of hers. Oh my god. Like, she's such an L of a character, and you know that she's a fail whenever you've had mythological stories, whether Clash of the Titans with Perseus, whether Hercules, the TV show, the legendary adventures of Hercules, God of War, the video games franchise. Like, bruh, how is it that all these other mythological figures that can use mythological creatures as enemies or deities as enemies or enchanted weaponry or legendary stories, why is it that all of them can leverage Greek mythology to become cult classics like this movie, to become iconic franchises like the God of War series, to the point that they've now effectively crossed over into Norse mythology, and I believe with the next spin-off they're supposed to spin off into Egyptian mythology. You'll have a memorable franchise or series of TV episodes with Hercules, the legendary adventures, to the point that show was so popular that Hercules reprises his role as Hercules in the third God of War game, if I'm not mistaken. Like, come on, man. You'll never have that with Wonder Woman. In fact, by the time of the Gal Gadot movies, not only did they never make a trilogy, the video game got canceled, but even by the second film, it crapped out. So like, and they never made another one. And all the legacy of the Wonder Woman film has proved is that it couldn't make $1 billion like, I don't know, Black Panther could. And the legacy of that movie is, hey, Gal Gadot can't act. And it took people nearly a decade to find out that fact. It's like, are you for real? But yeah, I feel as though cult classics like this movie, mega franchises like God of War, iconic portrayals of Greek mythology like Kevin Sorbo in the Hercules TV show, you have Gladiator, you have 300, you will never have that level of popularity when it comes to Wonder Woman. It'll be fleeting, and it'll never reach the heights of all of these other ones. I mean, the video game got canceled outright, And look how huge the Arkham Asylum games were for Batman. Look how big the Spider-Man movies were for Sony. Like, there's no demand for this stuff when it comes to Wonder Woman, and that's why she's an L of a character just all around. And I always laugh when she's part of like the DC Trinity. It's like, bro, give me a break. Put Green Lantern in that slot, man. Thetis. Is Thetis an actual sea deity? Let me see. Seth Thetis, a revered sea nymph and the goddess of water. How are you both a nymph and a goddess? That's weird. Damn. Hmm. Uh, why is it that so many people are like taking their animosity out on innocent people? Why? I guess Calabas doesn't want anyone else to have her, just like his mother. Marsh flies. Ew. I gotta believe that these costumes and the helmets and the gear and whatever, they're more authentic to ancient Greek life than what we saw in the Odyssey. Was that a Sumerian statue of a sphinx that I just saw? Let me see if they go back to it. Uh-oh. Visitor at night. Oh, he's invisible. Perseus. Oh, you cad. Careful, pervert. Jeez, no quilt or anything. And modern pillows and quilts for your bed. If you're supposed to be asleep, why do you have a night lamp? Okay. What are you hoping to do here exactly? Uh-oh. Damn! I forgot about this part. I think this is also taken from Egyptian mythology. There's a story of a maiden from a palace. That's a huge vulture. A maiden from a palace that was put in a bird cage by a enormous bird. So here's the second of the monsters that we've seen. He's like, get in already. It's a shame that, and I understand, it's a generational thing that moviegoers, they wouldn't really like to see what the. I vaguely remember this part. Yeah, like her soul got up and into the bird cage. Like why? But it's a shame, all the artistry that goes into stop motion. I do wish that there was more of this in the modern times, like somebody, and we do get this from time to time with claymation. We've gotten, for instance, I did a playthrough last month of the Midnight Walk that looked very much claymation like, but it's something that's actually physically really there. And with each frame, it's like you're modeling a toy, or you're not modeling a toy, but you're making a model that can articulate in a certain way, like just the movement, excuse me, of the talons of this vulture, the flapping of the wings, the blinking of the eyes, and the motion of the neck. It's really fascinating stuff, and all that needs to be articulated frame by frame. Like imagine building this thing, and then you have to like shape it one frame at a time. But again, there's an artistry there. There's something that's actually there. Unfortunately, I don't think that modern audiences, especially like young people, could appreciate what the hard work that would go into that. But I do want to do a watch party one day of the stop motion animation film. I think that was only made for streaming, called Mad God. Well, I guess he couldn't do much because it was like her soul that entered into that bird cage, but I don't know what he's talking about here or what he can do. Calibos. So, Calibas, Lord of the Marsh, son of Thetis, does not appear in Greek mythology. He's based on Caliban, an antagonist William Shakespeare created in 1611 for his poem The Tempest. In Greek mythology, the son of Thetis was Achilles, Greece's best warrior in the fight against Troy. I missed what they were talking about. Oh, yeah. I didn't realize that he had met his horse so soon in the story. Again, it's been decades since I've watched this movie. I used to love watching it as a child, though. Of course, a horror fan at heart, my favorite scenes of this film were the ones with the monsters, the two-headed dog, which is supposed to be Cerberus, excuse me. When you see Calabas, when you see Medusa, of course, and the Kraken. Hopefully it doesn't drink from the lake of sadness like from the Never-Ending Story. Here you go. So the helmet is invisible, but the lasso isn't. Awfully inconvenient. Sneaky. Very sneaky. I fail to see how you could tame a wild horse, let alone one that could fly. There you go. Make as much noise as possible. You better tie the other end off, Chief. Yeah, the helmet didn't really do him much good considering he came from behind the animal. Pause. Easy now. What are you gonna do, old man? Really? Because it wouldn't uproot that, like, immediately? Put the helmet on the horse. And away we go! Not for nothing, but you really could have grabbed a saddle. It's for you and the horse, as I understand it. It's funny how it looks like it's galloping up to the clouds. Bit of a rough ride. Wilbur. Wow. Again, like how they're able to use the puppetry of the stop motion to articulate all of that. I realize that, the effects aren't great when it's on like a green screen or what have you, when it's superimposed onto a skyline, but still, I mean, the fact that it's something real, it's tangible. Like you can get lost in that when you're doing CGI, and that kind of happened with the remake, the 2010 remake. Oh my god. The less said about that, the better, but oof. And again, they had like such an opportunity and they completely blew it. And I think that movie actually made money, and then they went on to make Wrath of the Titans, which, oh god. That was back. That was in the time where Warner Brothers was like it was the 2010s. They were coming up on like the ends of their cash cows with the Nolan trilogy of Batman movies, the Harry Potter movies, and like they were trying to franchise everything. It was so pathetic and desperate. Guys, we just passed the 40-minute mark. If you could remember to hit the like button on whichever platform you're watching this on. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to vote in the totem poll what your rating for the film is. She ain't waking up. What? So it returns every night, but does it return her soul? Every... So, I don't remember how this one plays out, but I guess we'll see. I guess she just has visits with her ex-boyfriend. Uh-oh. Nice. Great work from the guards that nobody's... If this happens on a nightly basis, like what... Somebody would think that they would notice a giant vulture. Yeah, I mean, these parts are... Well, this part's actually pretty good. But that vulture, yeah. I thought that this film was made like in the 60s or 70s. I didn't realize it was in the 80s. Just goes to show how amazing that decade was for cinema, man. We've never seen anything like it. There's been so many sequels and remakes. I mean, my God, the 2000s and 2010s were basically one of the segments, like one of the blocks of that entire decade was just all remakes. It was terrible. Everything from slasher movies to Schwarzenegger films. Like they redid, what is it? The Running Man. Oh, I think The Running Man is recent. They redid Conan, which was horrendous. They redid Total Recall. Oh my god. And here's where we meet our boy, our baby boy. It's just a skeleton chilling up there. And speaking of which, she's just, fine, walking through the marshes, having been abducted, taken far away from her kingdom and her body. Here we go. Yeah, this was... It's so funny, like, when you're a kid, you have that fascination where something scares you, but still... Oh, jeez. But still, you're intrigued by it and you can't look away. Yeah, his impish satyr appearance. Oh, I forgot about these. He has like a little entourage. She's just like completely oblivious. She's like, ah, this is fine. Nothing out of the ordinary here. So Neil McCarthy only played Calabas in headshots and half body shots. All full body shots, as you can imagine, of Calabas were played by a stop motion model. Uh oh. Does he whip her? I don't remember. What it? Pff, I don't know what that means. I'm gonna need subtitles. So initially, Calabas had no dialogue and was purely a stop motion character. After a rewrite of the script, dialogue was added and the role was given to Neil McCarthy. Remember what? He's like, nah, I'm good. So the actor actually suffered from acromegaly. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, which causes progressive changes to the face, among other symptoms. They did a good job with the makeup, though. Oh, damn. What was the point of the scene? No. Time for someone to get a whooping. Did you really not think that your footprints would, like, would be seen? Like, dude, if you're gonna be all stealthy, be that from a distance. Good makeup on the teeth. Yeah, he got a little too close. You lost your horse. Uh-oh. Well, this is not the place. See, even this looks like oh, Dagobah, where what's his name is? Yoda. Let me see. When did The Empire Strikes Back come out? 1980. So that could have been an influence on this film, considering this came out 1 year after. Well, should have been a little smarter there, boy. I'm just looking up if Ray Harryhausen ever worked on Star Wars. No, he didn't. But his pioneering stop motion and creature designs heavily inspired George Lucas. Yep. This is where he cuts his hand off. Oh, who does he bring the hand to? I think Andromeda. And I think everyone recoils. They're like, you should have done that. Someone's gonna be presenting a hand. They all know that she's like cursed or whatever by her ex. Maybe one. I'm here to be your daughter's booty call. Do you? Yeah, from where? In a dream. What? He's like, yeah, get on with it, lady. That's overly complicated, lady. I'm not here for your games. What are you talking about? You got me. Easy. A ring? Well. Oh, damn. That was a very strange. That was a strange riddle and way of introducing this hand. Cool. You're gonna take that ring off of that dead hand and give it to her as an engagement ring. Mm, for now. So I was mistaken. I thought that Calabas was the son of Hera, but it appears to be the son of Thetis, the sea goddess. Someone's gonna trip up, I think, her mother, and say that that Andromeda is more beautiful than Aphrodite or Thetis or something like that. Pff, what's up with all that stupid dancing? Mm. Even back in the 80s, I mean, this is great work when it comes to the makeup. And let me see something. I didn't check before. I didn't check what the budget for this movie was. And this was a pretty cool like projection where there's a projection of the idols over their marble statues, which I thought was interesting. Wow, 15 million. That's a lot for this movie. I didn't realize the budget was that big. Oh, got him. Yeah, this was a major financial success. I thought it was a flop when it first came out. So $15 million budget, $41 million domestic, $70 million worldwide was the gross. Interesting. I didn't know about that. Well, I've been stalking you, you see. I'm a voyeur, you understand? I'm sure there was something bursting and it wasn't an arrow. Interestingly, during the film's theatrical release in the UK, a marketing campaign was made with Smith's Monster Munch snacks. Consumers could send for a poster magazine if they sent in empty packets as proof of purchase. Also, the back of the packet featured fun facts on one of the monsters in the film. Uh-oh. Here we go. Mom is about to screw up. So they just finished one curse with Calabas, right? Uh-huh. Well done, Mom. You just finished getting done with one curse, and you absolutely ensure that you could have been cursed, you could have condemned your city, and certainly put a pox upon your own daughter. Dummy. Oops. Oh. Damn. Yes, psych.
Psych! That's the wrong number!
Wow. Jeez. Jesus. Extreme much? Oh my god. Way to go, Mom. Damn, she is not playing around. All of these cities do is like quake and cause natural disasters. Well, jeez, I'm telling you, man, they get out of one problem and it's like, oh, cool, the curse is over, the bad guy's been maimed. Okay, that was poorly acted. Uh-huh. What? Oh. Uh-oh. The Stygian witches. Let me see if the Stygian witches are if this is a product of the movie or if they were actual Stygian witches in Greek mythology. In Greek mythology, the Graea, or Grey Sisters, were three ancient sea deities. They personified the foam of the sea and served as the guardians of the gorgons. Whoa. So, okay, so the Stygian witches did exist, but they're kind of like the fates in this movie. A young woman, an adult woman, and a crone. Those were depicted in the Hercules Disney cartoon, if I'm not mistaken. She shatters. All right, so a lot of this stuff is starting to come back to memory because, again, it's been so long since I've seen this movie. I've forgotten, like, a lot of the plot details and how, you know, the story goes from A to B. Uh-oh. Why is your horse at the marsh? You just left it there? You idiot. That was pretty good motion with the stop motion. Oh. Oh, wow. Oh, jeez. I forgot that his horse had gotten captured. So, while this is going on, yeah, I mean, this is a B movie. It doesn't adhere strictly to Greek mythology. They play fast and loose with it. Calibos is based off of like I said, the Caliban of William Shakespeare's The Tempest. The Kraken has nothing is a mythological creature, but of Norse mythology, not Greek. And the Stygian witches, I don't think that they were ever called that in Greek mythology, but regardless. But you know, it's a respectable enough B movie. And it's crazy that we used to get B movies like this that would expand into a cult classic or a financially successful movie. I thought that this was a flop. And this being the last of the Harryhausen movies, I had no idea because I knew of the Harryhausen films. I want to do a watch party and a review of the documentary on Ray Harryhausen just because of his legacy and what he means to horror and genre films. But I didn't know that his movies came all the way up to the 80s. I did not know that at all. I thought this was at the latest, this was the 70s. He's like, harumph. I wasn't expecting company. Oh, back at Olympus. This is where she gets all possessive. He goes, you know, you have to do what I tell you. Oh. So Hephaestus has to build a friggin' owl. He's he's like, bro, all right. Hephaestus is like, lady, for the love of God, let me work in peace. So Bubo, the mechanical owl of Athena that's being built right now, it was introduced to capitalize on the popularity of R2D2 from Star Wars A New Hope. The name Bubo is a scientific term for the genus of eagle owls and horned owls. So the robot Bubo was modeled on a barn owl, which is actually the genus Tyto. Bubo makes a cameo appearance in the Clash of the Titans 2010 remake. Gee, well, maybe you shouldn't have left your horse where you knew the enemy was, dummy. Uh-oh. Did they find the vulture? Or... Oh, no. The mechanical owl. Quick, shoot it! I'd forgotten, like, well, I remembered that there was a mechanical owl in here, but I thought it interesting that he would be given an actual device that was like an actual machine that was built by the deities. I've always found that an interesting proposition. Like, what would a mechanical device look like if if it was created in a mythological time like this? You know what I mean? Especially if it's built by the idols. What? He's like, don't touch me, lady! It's the rest of yous. Sure, this couldn't be a trap by anybody. I trust you immediately and very gullibly. Yeah, but I don't know. There's something about that, like an apparatus, a mechanism that's built by idols during a mythological time. Something about that is very intriguing to me. And especially considering that Hephaestus was the blacksmith, I guess that's what it is. Like, during a period of time, and this would extend into the medieval time, but the thought of blacksmiths retroactively creating devices and mechanisms and machines that would have all of these moving parts that would be of a different age, a more modern time. But I don't know, something about that, I can't quite put my finger on it. I guess a device built by an idol or a deity to me is intriguing, because we're used to seeing, you know, swords and sandals, and the most complex device that they will have will be like a drawbridge or a battering, not a battering ram, a catapult. Wow. Nice on location environment or setting that they were able to find for this. What? An obelisk? That's just out in the middle of nowhere. Why would you bring the... I just realized that. Why would you bring the girl along? Yo, I'm just a doting girlfriend. I have nothing to do. All right, kiss, kiss. Let's get on with it. He's like, yeah, you stay here. This can't be a good thing. One of my favorite stop motion usages was always the Gremlins. I guess not stop motion, but you know, puppetry. I heard that they still want to make a third film. Oops. Matter of fact, I gotta look when the first and second one came out. I was such a fan of the 90s sequel. Actually, let me look that up now. I think Gremlins 2 came out in 92. I'm definitely overdue for a watch party. Oh, 1990. Never mind. I'm overdue for a watch party. Oh, God. The third one comes out November 19th next year. I didn't even realize that. Is this where they find the two-headed dog? I think so. Yeah, the obelisk was just another piece of Egyptian architecture that was stolen by Greeks. He spits on it. Uh-oh. It was so sad in the remake that they added like a practical, more creature type of effect to the Stygian witches, and it was like less effective. Oh, jeez. This was also a neat addition that I think is specific to the movie, using it like a crystal ball as an eye. No, 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 stay where you are. The gargling. That's great. These were such great additions to this story. They're like, Perseus, you're on your own. Oh, I forgot. Yeah. That was a good way of like forcing them to give him information and making sure that that these cannibals stay at a distance. Haha. This was a very interesting development, like having to speak to these frightening figures in order to get information, and yet their solution is pretty dangerous. I love that iconic quote. You don't say. Don't you hate a woman that don't give head? I make no apologies. That's an interesting feature. The blood of Medusa being poisonous. I don't I don't know if that was ever a part of mythology. Let me see. In Greek mythology, Medusa's blood possesses magical dual properties. According to legend, Athena collected blood from both sides of Medusa's body. What does that mean? Oh, I guess the human side, the upper part, and the snake half. Blood from the left side was a lethal poison, while blood from the right side had the power to resurrect the dead. Wow. That's interesting. I didn't know about that. The left side of lethal poison, the right side could resurrect the dead. That's wild. I didn't know about any of that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, drink your mead, old man. Yep. Uh-huh. And then? Poseidon? Wait a minute, I thought that was Zeus. Mm-hmm. No, that she was not. Hold on. So she was punished after. Well, Poseidon violated her. She was a mortal priestess, but this happened in Athena's temple, not Aphrodite's. I guess they felt it was ironic, a a goddess of love turning a mortal woman into a serpent woman. Damn. So because she could not punish Poseidon, Athena took out her wrath on Medusa. That's messed up, man. And there's stories like that where, just women just get punished. For instance, Arachne wove a garment better than Athena, if I'm not mistaken. Let me look that one up too. Punished by... Arachne was punished by the goddess Athena, yeah. Jeez. So Athena wow. I didn't realize that. Athena punished both Medusa and Arachne. Phew. Vengeful much? Oops, someone slept in. Is she alone? Did they leave her alone? Look who's protecting her for real. They just left her with the old geezer. Oh boy, where are you going? Out for a stroll, young lady? What are you crying about? What are you looking at? Okay. Jeez. Wait a minute. What? So, the princess of a kingdom is about to be cursed. Ah, the river Styx. They only sent Perseus with five soldiers. Yeah, the boatman requires a price. In my research of Egyptian mythology, there was an Egyptian ferryman, which makes me think that this was also stolen. The premise of Charon was stolen from Egyptian mythology. Let me look up what the name of it. Nekbet, if I'm not mistaken. Egyptian ferryman. Mahaf or Aken. That doesn't sound right. Celestial Ferryman. Name. I don't think that's right. Yeah, they're saying Mahaf and Aken. It was a ram-headed idol. It's always been strange to me how you have all of these depictions in mythology of like Grim Reapers, the ferrymen, the angel of death, yet they've never no one's ever really had a story about them, which I always thought was strange. Yep. Pay up, chief. Haha, cool. Dante's Inferno is also another. Uh-oh. Can everybody come on board? Dante's Inferno is another adaptation that, man, they really tried with the video game, but they made it too much like God of War, too much of a button masher and all that. But and the effort was noble, but I don't know, they didn't do enough to differentiate it and give it its own identity. I do like how, in order to stop one monstrosity, he has to go up against another. Oh, that's what his name, Kurti. Ram-headed deity. There we go. I knew that I knew that I was aware of the name. I just couldn't place it, and the other two didn't sound right. Are we there at Medusa's lair yet? And that's why I find mythology so intriguing. Not just the stories, not how all these characters play off of each other. He's like, well, you out of luck, and you actually paid for this trip. But, yeah, the stories surrounding them, the creatures themselves, how a lot of these monsters were the punishments by the idols, or they were children of the idols. I think like the Hydra was, for instance, the child of somebody or another. And I think that there were 12 labors of Hercules. I wish that someone would adapt that. Like, they would vaguely reference them in the Hercules cartoon movie and the Hercules TV show. But I would like to see a modern interpretation where somebody actually goes through, like, the season ender is like as the final boss, each of the 12 trials. If I'm not mistaken, those trials were meant for him to arrive at, his godhood or something like that. Again, this is another great practical on location setting that they have here. And it's great. Here we go, the two-headed dog. So, everyone knows that Greek hellhounds traditionally had 3 heads. Dioskylos, in this movie has only 2 heads because it would have taken Ray Harryhausen too much time to animate a 3rd head. Yep. And this is kind of creepy, like a garden of statues of other fallen heroes. Oh, geez. Whoops. I mean, he was dead anyway. But still. So I mentioned how Caliban was based off of... Jeez. Wow. It's crazy, like how both the actors have to act this out. Oh, geez. Nice. The actors have to act this out, and then the stop motion is applied. Dude, you have a shield. Ha 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 ha. Going somewhere? Again, I mean, it would be so great if a modern movie were to depict Greek mythology and have a happy medium between, monsters, practical effects, CGI, and the more serious tones of the Odyssey and Troy. It's such a strange dichotomy that we get. It's always a CGI, a CGI laser show. Oh, nice. Oh my god. Ooh. Whew. Damn, Perseus ain't playing around. He still goes for the shot. Yep. Jeez. No blood on his sword. He swiped these things 3 times. Anyway. So. What? Didn't you come in there with 5 soldiers? Yeah, it would be great to see these monsters brought to life, these mythological figures, through use of both practical and CGI, sparingly, of course, but more the practical side would be interesting. So I mentioned how Calibos was based off of the William Shakespeare Caliban. Many of the cast were stage and screen actors and actresses notable for performing in William Shakespeare plays. Good use of tension. Yeah, where are the other soldiers? Ha 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 ha. This is pure horror. The suspense, the mood, the monster. And the setting, to be honest. Like, it's a great use of light. The fire torches in the pit there. And yet the room still looks dark. You know what I mean? That kind of like single source lighting. Interesting stuff. In a modern, and I'm just like spitballing here, in a modern take, it would be interesting if... Oh, jeez, I forgot she's an archer. Ow. Is that sulfur water? It'd be interesting if like the murals in this temple came to life to serve as a distraction. Oh man, this was terrifying as a kid. And there she goes, the lady of the house. He's like, let me just take a little peeky. A little peeky poo. She's like, I don't want to see that. I can only imagine what practical effects would allow for this character, both in the body and the hair, the snake hair. Not to mention the overall look of her, the scales, and what could appear on the face. God, that rattle is... There's something otherworldly about... Good hiding, stupid. There you go. You were warned what she was and you decided to take a look anyway. All snake women throughout mythology have always fascinated me. The Nagin, the snake women of India. I was very much intrigued with the... What was it? The transition of the vampires in Dusk Till Dawn to more snake-like in the TV show. That's one thing that I can give the the TV adaptation, that they tried to turn all of the vampires into more snake-like than bat-like creatures. And that comes off of the iconic Selma Hayek appearance in the movie. I wish that they would take that further in other adaptations. Like, it's an interesting crossover from an animal that would use fangs from a vampire bat to a serpent. There's something very ghoulish about that, like a statue garden. Oh, nice. He uses it as a reflection. Brilliant. Oopsie. Oh my god, the sound of that and the look. That reminded me of the Beetlejuice snake. Which makes me it's interesting watching this movie and wondering about how other films played off of this. You know, the Sarlacc pit for the Gorgon. I'm sorry, not the Gorgon, the Kraken. And wondering if Tim Burton was inspired by the Gorgon here to make the Beetlejuice snake. Ah, smart. I forgot that he... No, he doesn't use her own reflection against her. He just... he relieves her of her head. Oh, God. There's something so like I'm terrified of like big snakes, like anacondas. I remember when the movie Anaconda came out, I had no idea that and the outpouring of blood here from the decapitated body was freaky. And the thought that the head and the hair snakes are still alive, very unsettling. It's like, well, let me just grab that for you. Yeah, that freaked me out. Oh, wow. That the blood burns is kind of creepy. It's like, it's like, okay, let me not take a look-see. It's like, well, it cost 2 men, but... Oh, Jesus. We just passed the hour-and-a-half mark again, guys. No matter which platform you're watching this on, if you could hit the like button. Oh, does the shield melt? This iconic... this iconic posture right here. If you could hit the like button, and if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to vote in the totem poll in the chat, and tell me what your ranking for this film is. Nice. And the eyes opened. This was so iconic, this posture, that it was used as the poster for the remake. And it's crazy to me, like, how I couldn't tell you what the most iconic or memorable scene from the Odyssey was, and I saw that a week ago today. Well, this is when You Know Who shows back up. He still hasn't gotten his horse back. Haha. Interesting that they would have the funny lightning effects. Interesting that they would have the bird serve as a watchman. And he starts getting ideas. A fork. I always thought that was funny. This is creepy. This was creepy. And I've always thought that this premise is frightening. The thought that the blood of a creature can summon or create other creatures. Something similar to that is what we see in Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight, where, oh god, I don't remember the name of Billy Zane's character. Oh my god, these scorpions. Ugh. The Collector. His blood like summons demons. Very creepy. Oh my god. He's like, shut up, bitch. Yep, wakey wakey. Down to 2 soldiers, okay. Oh my god. Like, that's pure nightmare fuel. Oh my lord, there's 3, what is it, 3 of them? Damn. This guy really doesn't like horses. All the weapons that this guy has, and he just uses a torch. Easy, dude. Now, why would they need to be whipped? One would think that the scorpions would be terrifying enough. Oh my god. I can't, dude. I just... Could you imagine fighting one of these things and, you know, you're going for the claws and then the tail comes right... Oh, Lord, yep. The fright of that tail just lunging down and hitting you in the chest or the clavicle. Well, he's... Oh my god! The way that it... Oh my... Like, the way that it curled up upon death was really creepy. Oh, Jesus. Oh, he gets stabbed in the back. Oh, no. Oh. Damn. The way that scorpion just curled up its tail upon death and it made that guttural sound, that oh, he grabbed the... Nice. That reminded me of when oh, Jesus. The sound that it makes and the like the trembling of its claw. When that scorpion curled up upon death, it reminded me of the baby... Oh god, what are they called in Gears of War? Not Reavers. Gears of War. Not Cedars. Gears of War monsters. Damn. Eat it. What the hell was it called? They're not Reavers. Spider monster. Corpser. They would like fall. The baby corpsers would like fall on their back, and then like close up their legs. Creepy stuff. He died. How much longer do we have in the movie? I think another just over 20 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. Just under 20 minutes, excuse me. He's like, boy, I sure hope that this head was worth all of this. What is he planning to do exactly? I don't know. So Ray Harryhausen was always a bit disappointed with the visual quality of the scene where Perseus fights Calibos and the Scorpions, as he felt the grain of the real life footage was inferior to the film stock he used for the miniature stop motion work, making the blending of the footage look mismatched. He asked for more time to sort it out by getting more involved with the grading of the optical printing at the film lab, but MGM refused as they had a tight deadline and to meet in order to get this film released to theaters. Shows the dedication to his craft, though. So, the monster characters that appear in the movie include 4 scorpions, the Kraken sea monster, the giant vulture, 3 Stygian witches, Dioskalos, the 2-headed dog, the Gorgon Medusa, and Calibos, the Lord of the Marsh. On the flip side, the Greek god and goddess characters appearing in the movie include the immortal Zeus, the supreme father of gods and men, Hera, goddess of marriage and maternity, Thetis, a titan of myth, not one of the 12 Olympic gods, Aphrodite, goddess of love, Poseidon, god of the sea, Hephaestus, god of fire, metalworking, stonemasonry, and the art of sculpture, and Athena, goddess of wisdom, warfare, divine intelligence, architecture, and crafts. I forgot to mention that when Perseus fought Medusa, everyone with him had a different shield. One had a griffin, one had a Pegasus, and one had a flying pig. That's probably why that guy didn't make it. When pigs fly! Interestingly, according to mythology, after Medusa's head was severed from her neck, 2 offspring sprang forward, the winged horse Pegasus and the giant Cryosaur. This part I don't remember. I don't remember them laying flames to Calibos's camp. Seems a bit superfluous. Because after all, he died. Jesus, Horsey, you were more trouble than you're worth. Did that mechanical bird just sneeze? So the original script called for Perseus to cut off Medusa's head simply by throwing his shield at her in an attempt to appease UK standards and practice censors, as the producers felt that the hero decapitating someone would not be appropriate for children in the audience. Oh yeah. Anyway, Harry Hamlin apparently was resistant to the idea from the beginning, as it wasn't in keeping with the actual Greek mythology. When the day came to film the scene and it still hadn't been changed, he threatened to quit the movie and fly home. He remained in his trailer, much to the annoyance of producers Charles H. Schneer and Ray Harryhausen and director Desmond Davis. Hamlin was gradually able to get some of the other crew members on his side, which resulted in the scene being rewritten accordingly. He's like, well, I'm back. Now after the hell that I've been through, all I have to do is fight a titan. Exhausted. So as I mentioned before, this was the only of Ray Harryhausen movies to get a PG rating. All of his previous movies were approved or, as of 1969, rated G, especially the 1970s re-release of some of his older movies. Well, that deadline come a-calling. See, even this, even like the statues, the figurines, all of this is much more visually impressive than anything that we've gotten from modern day ultra serious non-fiction takes of the Odyssey, or I'm sorry, of mythology in general. There's never any epicness. There's never any indulgence to fantasy. You know what I mean? It's just it's complete. A lot of these stories are just taken far too seriously, and the only good ones, the only good Greco-Roman films that we get are Gladiator or 300, which don't have deities in them. You know what I mean? It's the strangest of things. I continue to implore for there to be a happy medium. And I would absolutely love to see a horror. And yet, like, of all of a horror version of mythology, no matter what it is, if it's Asian, if it's Aztec, whatever you have. But, like, with all, like, another thing that I've always found so interesting is that whenever you have a mythology, a proper one, you'll always have the Pantheon, and you'll always have the monsters beneath them. You know what I mean? For the longest time, I've always felt, and this is off topic, but I've always felt that Hellraiser, if done correctly, would be a modern mythology. You know? It's just that you only have one idol, maybe two, with Leviathan and his daughter Angelique. But with the engineer, you can have the beasts of burden. And, obviously, Hellraiser would have a greater emphasis on the priesthood, which is not something you often see within any type of depiction of mythology. But that's how I've always, like, to me, Hellraiser doesn't have, it's hellish without being, you know, the Christian, the Christian depiction of, you know, 9 circles or whatever. It's its own mythology. That's how it should be treated. Damn, she got the Prometheus treatment. Jeez, they're actually calling this thing. And it would be interesting to see a depiction of the Titanomachy, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. The war, the celestial war between the Titans and the Olympians. That in and of itself can be a depiction of horror because of what it was that was involved. You know, Cronus was eating his children. This is so cool. And this reveal is awesome. Yep. Very Creature of the Black Lagoon. Let me write this down actually, because I should make depictions or the legacy of the Creature of the Black Lagoon, like I did for the legacy of my second video ever. I did a legacy of Nosferatu, of modern monsters that are inspired by the bat-like Nosferatu. He's like, beat it. A lot of help you were. That is a great design, and my God, like, while this is iconic, the Clash of the Titans remake absolutely wasn't. It was just so generic, like such a missed opportunity. But that's the case of the entirety of that film. I never realized that, to be honest, how so many movie monsters have been inspired by the Gill Man, the missing link from Creature from the Black Lagoon. Unbelievable. Great use of the sounds that this creature makes. Yeah, in the digital effects from the remake, something was just completely lost, like just in its entirety, which is very unfortunate. They just go way too indulgent with the CGI, and the Pegasus is like flying around the different tentacles, and it's just like whatever. Decent use of scaling of this creature. Oops. Jeez. That's a fail. That's a fail both for the hero and the horse. Good thing that head floated. Crazy as it sounds, despite the movie being notable for its stop motion visual effects, it was not Oscar nominated for either makeup or visual effects. Sorry, but that's a fail for the Academy. Ha ha ha. Nice. That happened. This effect happened quicker than I thought. I thought that there was more of a fight and an interaction with the monster. Bye bye. How did they pull off that effect? The cracking? The cracking of the Kraken. Well, so long. Another one bites the dust. Now nobody piss off the gods to unleash any more curses, damn you. He's like, get the hell rid of that thing. Which is funny because a minute ago it was floating. Ha ha ha. Nice. See? All around it's a happy ending. Whee! Well, all's well that ends well. He's like, any more ex-boyfriends that I should know about, or any surprises that your mom is gonna drop on me? Hooray! In an attempt to cash in on the success of Kenner's Star Wars toys, Mattel produced Clash of the Titans toys in 1981. The toys that were released were Perseus, Thallo, I don't know who that is, Calibos, Karen, Pegasus, and the Kraken. Really? Oh no! Can't have that. Amen, right? Amen for cowardice. Awesome. Jesus. Ever the screenwriter. Well, for now. Oh, that's right. Were constellations. I've never looked up what the constellations are. All I know is like the Big Dipper or the Belt of Orion. I think there's a bull up there. I don't know. Good stuff. All right, that's our movie. Hope everybody enjoyed.
And now his watch is ended.
And now their watch is ended.
So one more trivia note, and my closing thoughts. A sequel titled Force of the Trojans, again written by the same screenwriter here, Beverly Cross, was pitched to MGM in 1984, but was never made due to the complicated nature of the effects. The original film underperforming in the USA, and the MGM feeling that audiences were no longer interested in mythological adventure films. The sequel was to be based on the Aeneid, opening with the siege of Troy and the sneak attack of the city with the giant wooden horse, and following the Trojan prince Aeneas and his quest for revenge following the death of his wife during the battle, eventually going on to found the city of Rome and becoming the ancestor of all the Romans. The film was to have sequences featuring the giant talking sphinx of Phrygia, the fatal fight of Daedalus and Icarus. I didn't know they fought. Charybdis and Scylla, a Pandora's box sequence, Furies, Jackalmen, a colony of Cyclops, the evil goddess Hecate, with 3 faces and 6 hands, each holding a different weapon, and even the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse in the finale. Jesus, a bit much. Despite the final film not being made, a lot of pre-production work went into it, including plenty of concept art, and co-producer Charles H. Schneer had reached out to ILM, Industrial Light and Magic, to handle some of these sequences, notably the Sphinx and Pandora's Box, ones which were to have been supervised by Phil Tippett, who I believe is the collaborator with Sam Raimi, and Dennis Muren. The failure to get the film made led Schneer and Ray Harryhausen to essentially retire from the industry. That's a shame. So, closing thoughts. Great film. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, I've always wanted to do a watch party for this, but with the Odyssey, this gave me a great opportunity to do so as a backslash attempt to get the bad taste of the Odyssey out of my mouth, and I hope it served the same as for all of you. So it's interesting that in his documentary, Ray Harryhausen, Special Effects Titan, it was remarked that even as just the special effects guy, that the films that Ray Harryhausen worked on are known for him. They're known as his films. As in, credit is given not to the writers, not to the directors, but Harryhausen himself. Again, that's just the legacy that this guy left, the stop motion creature effects. I mean, it's just, it's a shame because modern audiences, I'm not particularly confident that they would have an appreciation for that level of creating elaborate modern stop motion effects and then the actual movements of them. It'd be very time consuming, I imagine. I don't know if puppeteers would want to dedicate the time to not only building these things but moving them frame by frame to the way that they want them, to the specifications of a film or a scene. But still, I mean, I do want to do a watch party for Ray Harryhausen, special effects titan, just because of what he meant to the industry. And again, I need to give a shout out to games such as The Midnight Walk that has like that claymation, stop motion charm and a quaintness to it. And I do want to do a Mad God watch party. I assume it's on Shudder. I'll have to take a look, but I do want to take a look at that just for the artistry, just because I think that there need to be more eyeballs on this rather dated, yes, but still significant piece of cinema and horror history. So, if you want to keep the good times rolling, how about a Shockbuster night?
There's a formula to it. A very simple formula.
Make it a blockbuster, right?
So, if you want to continue to watch other films like this, my recommendations include Jason and the Argonauts, also a Harryhausen film from 1963, The Seventh Voyage of Sinbad from 1958, and if you want to see a more modern take, with modern in quotes, Army of Darkness for the third Evil Dead film. And of course, the Ray Harryhausen special effects Titan documentary. So, let me now discuss what is on the scene for the Mind's Eye Theater and the Greater Mind's Eye. So, I'm happy to say that I've been on something of a roll with my watch parties, with my Backlash segment of the Mind's Eye Theater. I have done recent watch parties for Lee Cronin's The Mummy, for the inaugural Backlash Evil Dead Rise. Last week I watched Obsession, so all of these are now available for all of you fine fiends to take a gander at. Also, I've resumed not only the live stream, but the other day just yesterday I did a live stream for the July edition of the Midsummer Night stream with my playthrough of Grime 2. So I'll try to get 3 more live streams in, just so that I can round out July with the traditional 4 playthroughs of the game that we're playing all month. So, let me see, I believe that's it. Now let's take a look at coming attractions. Okay, so I have a number of other watch parties. I got to look at the list that I made, but I have the watch party for the upcoming Hearts of Darkness documentary. So that's a documentary based on the Jason Goes to Hell movie. I've been very, what better time than the summer to do a watch of this documentary that I've been waiting for such a long time for, but also of a horror franchise that has been known for summer camps. And what timing, considering that the Crystal Lake upcoming show, the trailer dropped recently. In terms of Backlash, Mind's Eye Theater watch parties, we're gonna be doing Scary Movie 2. Just because Scary Movie 6 was so terrible. It just so happens to be the 25th anniversary of Scary Movie 2. And let me see. It's actually the 15-year anniversary of Scream 4. I didn't even realize that. So, not only am I going to do a Scream 4 Backlash, just because to me, Scream 4 is and remains the only good Scream sequel of any of them. And that's because we're watching that, especially this year. It's the 15th anniversary, which I didn't even realize, but also it just happens to be a giveaway because this movie just released about 2 months ago, a month and a half ago. Scream 4 finally released on 4K, so I'm going to be doing a giveaway. So one fine fiend who joins me, and by joining me, not just for the watch party, but subscribing to my YouTube channel, will win a Scream 4K Blu-ray. So, let's see. I have a couple of inquisitions that I want to get to. I just found out today that, oh god, that Kevin Feige feels like a failure post-success of the Avengers Doomsday trailer because he could never get around to making a proper remake of Blade, and he feels terrible about it, which, I mean, not for nothing, dude, you should. Especially the quote about how, oh, we just don't want to make a Blade movie where he's just running around killing vampires. It's like, bruh. It's like, dude. Are you that dumb? That's exactly what fans want to see. Like, why are you overcomplicating it? But I imagine, based off of the leaks that we've heard about it, that he wanted to go woke anyway. I have a lot to say about the gaming industry. My God. It was like for a week or two straight, it was just one bad piece of news after another. So, I have plenty to get to in terms of the Inquisition. And in addition to that, I'm going to be doing an insert coin watch party because it being the Midsummer Night's Scream. There are actually 2 documentaries that I want to watch that are documentaries and coincide with gaming. One is Insert Coin. The other one next month in August will be FPS. So, therefore, mark your calendars and say your prayers. I've been Inkarnate, offering a word of caution. Fear the worst, so long you recognize who's best.
If you're resigned to your fate, time to subscribe to your fears.
Scary night, isn't it? Looks like right out of a horror movie or something.
See you in your dreams. Oh, come back anytime. Bring your friends.
Welcome to my nightmare.